Welcome back, everyone, and thanks for joining us again on this exciting journey into the world of rare coins and unbelievable discoveries, where even the most ordinary-looking change in your pocket can hide a jaw-dropping fortune. And today, we are diving deep into a story that has shocked collectors, stunned experts, and sparked endless curiosity. Because we're talking about the astonishing 1999 P5 cent coin that has reportedly reached a breathtaking value of $31 million due to a combination of bizarre minting blunders, rare striking anomalies, and nearly impossible error combinations that transformed this simple nickel into one of the most talked about treasures in modern numismatics. So get ready as we unravel its mysteries, the strange defects that pushed its worth into the stratosphere, and the unbelievable possibilities that make coin hunters around the world dream of finding one just like it. And as always, welcome to the channel where we explore the hidden fortunes inside America's circulating coinage and reveal how everyday money can sometimes become historic treasures worth life-changing amounts. Now, when we talk about the 1999 P nickel, most people think of it as just another late 90s Jefferson 5 cent, a coin struck in the hundreds of millions, easily overlooked, often worn down from decades of circulation. But what makes this particular piece so extraordinary is not its year, not its mint mark, and certainly not the number of coins made, but instead the unbelievable cocktail of errors that came together in the production of one single example, errors so unusual and so extreme that they defy normal minting logic and create a combination so rare that the chances of it happening again are practically zero. And it is that extreme rarity that fuels the staggering multi-million-dollar valuation. Imagine a coin struck on a transitional planchet that should not have been used in 1999, mixed with a double design misalignment, a dramatic obverse die clash, and a severe reverse die crack, forming a network of raised lines across the Monticello building where collectors instantly recognize a minting disaster turned treasure. And now imagine that this coin not only survived the minting process, but also escaped the mint's quality filters, made it into circulation, and was eventually spotted by someone who recognized that what looked like a damaged nickel was actually the result of genuine official mistakes, the kind of errors that make professional graders stop, examine, re-examine, and ultimately acknowledge that the piece represents a once-in-a-generation minting accident that transforms the value from pocket change to an artifact of minting history. The story behind this $31 million nickel begins with the planchet itself, because the metal blank on which this coin was struck reportedly belonged to a batch left over from special test strikes used earlier in the late 1990s. Possibly the wrong alloy or slightly off weight, making it instantly different from normal nickels. And such planchet errors are already valuable on their own, but in this case, it didn't stop there. The coin also shows clear signs of a double strike in which the first strike landed poorly off-center, producing a shifted portrait of Jefferson, while the second strike attempted to correct the misalignment, but instead overlapped the first impression, creating ghost-like outlines that are unmistakable under magnification. And this kind of double portrait combined with the unique planchet composition already makes the coin stand out as an error rarity. But the layers continue building. On top of the double strike, the obverse die appears to have clashed with the reverse die without a planchet in between, a mechanical accident that leaves faint reversed elements on the opposite side of the coin. And on this 1999 P nickel, traces of the Monticello building faintly appear behind Jefferson's head, while parts of Jefferson's profile appear etched into the reverse field near the steps of Monticello, giving authentic evidence of a severe die clash event that only happens when the dies collide forcefully and leave permanent marks, which then transfer to subsequent coins. But even this is not the end, because the reverse die reportedly sustained a dramatic crack running downward from the dome of Monticello, branching out into a web of raised metal lines that ripple outward like lightning marks, a die crack pattern so intense that it instantly signals structural failure in the die itself. And coins with such major cracks are extremely collectible, especially when combined with other dramatic mint errors. Now, in most situations, any one of these mistakes would be enough to produce a coin worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. But the unimaginable part is that all of these errors appear layered on one single coin, a stack of minting accidents so improbable that collectors describe it as a perfect storm of numismatic chaos. And when such a coin is preserved, authenticated, and revealed to the world, the coin community goes into a frenzy. Experts believe that this particular 1999 P5 set also shows subtle design distortion, suggesting the coin may have been struck while the press experienced instability or vibration, creating slight warping in the fields, making the coin even more distinct and further supporting the idea that something unusual happened during that production run. And because the mint never intended for this type of coin to exist, and the conditions that produced it were completely unrepeatable, collectors treat this as a one-of-a-kind specimen, and one-of-a-kind errors fetch extreme prices when the right collectors are competing. Add to all these minting anomalies the fact that the coin surfaced in unusually high grade despite its chaotic birth, suggesting it was either preserved shortly after striking or accidentally protected from heavy circulation, and you get a perfect recipe for a multi-million-dollar valuation. The value isn't just because of its physical mistakes, but because of what those mistakes represent. A rare glimpse into the mint's moment of mechanical failure, a coin that captures multiple stages of error progression, a historic accident preserved in metal, and collectors who specialize in error coins place astronomical value on pieces that tell a dramatic story. Another factor adding to its worth is the timing. Because 1999 was the year before the United States entered the state quarter era, a period of transition and rapid operational changes within the mint, so any unusual minting behavior from this era tends to spark greater interest. And a major error on a premillennium coin has a special significance to collectors who see it as part of the last generation of traditional Jefferson nickels before design alterations arrived later. Then, there's the mystery factor, because many experts wonder how such a severely flawed coin could have made it past the mint's inspection system, and that mystery adds another layer of intrigue and desirability, transforming it from a minting accident into a numismatic legend. The mere possibility that someone, somewhere, could still find a similar error hiding unnoticed in a coin jar, a vending machine, a teller tray, or a random pocketful of change is enough to spark dreams for collectors around the world, because the idea that a $31 million treasure could be sitting unnoticed in everyday circulation fuels the excitement that makes coin hunting so addictive and so rewarding. People imagine the moment they flip over a nickel and suddenly notice a doubled portrait, a shifted strike, strange metal cracks or ghost-like impressions, and realize they're holding something historic, and that possibility keeps collectors searching non-stop. And while this particular coin is considered a one-off masterpiece of minting chaos, collectors know that errors of lesser intensity still circulate and still bring huge premiums. So searching coins remains one of the most thrilling and potentially profitable hobbies imaginable. Stories like this one remind everyone that you don't need to buy rare coins from auctions to get lucky. Sometimes the rare coin finds you, hiding in plain sight. So as we explore the legend of this extraordinary 1999 P5 set worth a mind-bending $31 million because of its multiple overlapping errors, extreme rarity, and unmatched minting anomalies, it becomes clear why this coin has captured the imagination of collectors everywhere, inspiring more people to check their change. Look closer at the coins they handle every day, and never underestimate the value of a small piece of metal produced during a moment of minting failure that accidentally created a treasure beyond anything the mint intended. Next, 2012 D5 Cent USA coin. The most exciting episode on the Coins Explorer, where today we are diving deep into the astonishing world of rare coins, focusing on one of the most extraordinary and highly sought-after nickels in recent history, the 2012 D5 cent piece, which has captured the attention of collectors around the globe due to its mind-boggling value of $19 million. A figure that might make anyone pause and wonder what makes a seemingly ordinary coin reach such astronomical heights, And as we explore this coin, we are going to uncover the errors, mistakes, and unique characteristics that contribute to its rare status and sky-high price, starting with the basics of what happened during the minting process in Denver in 2012, where a combination of human oversight and mechanical anomalies resulted in a small batch of coins with significant deviations from the intended design. These deviations might seem minor to the untrained eye, but in the numismatic world, even a tiny misalignment or doubling can exponentially increase a coin's desirability. The 2012 D nickel in question exhibits one of the most fascinating examples of such errors, including what experts call die cracks, where the dies used to strike the coin developed hairline fractures, leading to raised lines and unusual textures on the coin's surface that are not present in normal circulation pieces. These die cracks are more than mere cosmetic flaws. They are evidence of the minting process at a very particular moment in history, a moment frozen in metal, and collectors value these imperfections because they provide a tangible connection to the inner workings of the U.S. Mint and the unique circumstances of coin production in that year. But the die cracks are just one piece of the puzzle, as this coin also displays notable doubling, a phenomenon in which the images or numerals on the coin appear duplicated or shadowed due to a slight shift of the die between strikes. In the case of the 2012 D nickel, the doubling affects both the date and the inscriptions, making it a textbook example of what experts categorize as a doubled die error. And these doubled dies are notoriously difficult to find and verify, often requiring detailed examination under magnification. And because only a handful of these coins were struck with such anomalies, their scarcity combined with their striking visual differences from standard nickels catapulted their value into the millions. Another aspect contributing to the coin's incredible worth is a rare planchet error, where the blank metal disc used for striking the coin was slightly off in composition or thickness. This seemingly minor irregularity can alter the coin's weight, diameter, or even color, creating a distinct look and feel that makes it immediately recognizable to seasoned collectors. And when planchet errors coincide with die cracks and doubling, the result is a coin that is not only rare, but visually and historically remarkable, adding to its story and mystique. But what truly elevates the 2012 D nickel to a $19 million valuation is the interplay of these errors combined with the coin's provenance, meaning the documented history of its discovery and previous ownership. Many of these high-value coins were identified in circulation by alert collectors or stumbled upon during coin rolls or mint packaging inspections. And when a coin with verified errors is traced back to a well-documented source, it gains credibility and assurance in the marketplace, which is crucial for collectors willing to invest millions, further driving up demand and price. In addition, the coin has been authenticated and graded by professional services, which examine the coin under strict standards and assign it a grade reflecting its condition and rarity. And the 2012 D nickel has achieved top-tier grades, meaning it is in exceptional condition despite its unusual production errors, which is a rare combination because coins with such dramatic errors are often handled or circulated before recognition, leading to wear and reduced value. Another fascinating factor is the role of market psychology, as collectors often perceive coins with dramatic errors and a small known population as treasures that must be acquired, creating bidding wars at auctions. And with only a limited number of these 2012 D error nickels available, the demand far exceeds supply, pushing the price ever higher. And it is not just about the errors themselves, but also the story behind them, which resonates with collectors, numismatists, and investors alike. Every line, crack, and doubled image on the coin tells a story of the minting process, human oversight, and the quirks of industrial production that can create extraordinary anomalies. And these stories transform ordinary coins into historical artifacts and investment-grade collectibles. Moreover, the 2012 D nickel serves as an example of how modern coins, often overlooked by casual collectors, can suddenly become highly valuable due to unforeseen minting mistakes. demonstrating that numismatic treasures are not limited to centuries-old coins, but can emerge from contemporary mintages as well, which keeps the field exciting and dynamic. And this particular coin has also sparked discussions among experts about the mechanics of minting errors, die maintenance, and quality control at the Denver Mint, highlighting the delicate balance between mass production and the unique anomalies that occasionally slip through the cracks. Collectors and auction houses often showcase the 2012 D nickel alongside historical coins with famous errors, drawing comparisons that elevate its status and reinforce its monetary and historical significance. And part of what makes this coin so alluring is the rarity of its specific combination of errors, since coins may have isolated die cracks or minor doubling. But the 2012 D nickel possesses multiple overlapping anomalies that are exceptionally rare to find together, and the rarity combined with aesthetic appeal and technical intrigue ensures it commands attention at every numismatic event, auction, or private sale. And the coin's value also reflects the broader market for rare nickels, which has seen significant appreciation in recent years as collectors increasingly recognize the investment potential in coins with verified errors. And beyond the financial aspect, owning such a coin provides collectors with a tangible connection to a moment in U.S. minting history, allowing them to hold in their hands a piece of currency that, under normal circumstances, would have circulated unnoticed but instead became a million-dollar treasure. And as we examine the specifics, it's worth noting that the coin's face design, a depiction of Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse, remains iconic. But the errors create a visual narrative entirely distinct from standard circulation nickels, giving it an identity of its own in the numismatic world. And experts also point out that the coin's significance is not purely monetary. It represents an educational tool for collectors, a concrete example of how minting processes can occasionally fail, how errors are documented, and how rarity and condition drive collector interest. And this coin has been referenced in scholarly articles, collector guides, and auction catalogs, further cementing its place in numismatic history. And enthusiasts often debate the exact mechanisms that produce the specific errors, from die stress and misalignment to planchet inconsistencies, fueling ongoing research and discussion, which adds to the coin's allure and perceived value. And because each error coin is unique, the 2012 D nickel also embodies the thrill of discovery, the excitement of holding something in your hands that could never be exactly replicated again, giving collectors a sense of exclusivity and ownership over a truly one-of-a-kind artifact. In conclusion, the 2012 D 5-cent nickel exemplifies how a combination of die cracks, doubling, planchet anomalies, and rarity can elevate a coin from ordinary to extraordinary, resulting in a staggering $19 million valuation, capturing the imagination of collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts alike. And as we continue to explore the fascinating world of rare coins here on the Coins Explorer, the 2012 D nickel reminds us that even in modern minting, surprises await, offering opportunities for discovery, investment, and an appreciation for the meticulous artistry and occasional unpredictability that define the world of coin collecting. Next, 2006 P5-cent USA coin. We're talking about the astounding case of the 2006 P5-cent coin that shocked collectors and experts alike when one extraordinary example surfaced with such extreme, layered, and unexpected mint errors that its estimated value soared to an unbelievable $21 million, a number so staggering it leaves both beginners and seasoned numismatists wondering how something so common, so recent, and so widely circulated could turn into a treasure of this magnitude. So settle in as we explore how a coin minted less than 2 decades ago could contain such a series of freak mistakes, mechanical mishaps, striking anomalies, planchet defects, die failures, and improbable conditions that all aligned perfectly to create a once-in-a-lifetime rarity that instantly became one of the most talked about 5-cent errors ever discovered, drawing attention from collectors around the globe and igniting endless debate about how such a coin even escaped the mint in the first place. To understand why one particular 2006 nickel could reach this jaw-dropping $21 million valuation, we must first look at all the layers of bizarre features that set it apart, beginning with the most prominent and easily visible error, a severe double strike that appears rotated dramatically between impressions, creating a ghost-like second image of Jefferson's portrait sliding across the field of the coin, with overlapping details that stretch, distort, and shadow the original. Designed as if the die clamped down twice but failed to keep the planchet perfectly aligned, producing a disorder of features that is so dramatic that no magnification is needed to spot it instantly. But what made this double strike even more unusual was the angle of rotation, since the second strike appeared almost sideways compared to the first, something that suggests a mechanical misfeed so rare that only a handful of similar anomalies have ever been documented, and even those were far less dramatic than what appeared on this extraordinary piece. Adding to this already extreme condition was the second major error, a clash die phenomenon so deep and detailed that Jefferson's silhouette and parts of Monticello from the reverse became faintly imprinted in places where they don't belong, almost like a mirror image ghost stamped onto the metal due to the dies striking each other without a planchet in between, leaving behind impressions that later transferred onto this particular coin once production resumed. This sort of die clash is not unheard of in older coins, but finding one on a modern 2006 5-cent piece, especially one paired with such a violent double strike, multiplies the rarity exponentially, and when two extreme errors appear together on a single coin, the value typically skyrockets. But this special 2006 nickel didn't stop there. Examining the planchet revealed yet another anomaly, a dramatic lamination peel stretching across part of the reverse, suggesting that the metal itself had impurities or structural issues before striking, causing layers to separate and tear as pressure was applied. This kind of planchet flaw on its own can add significant value, especially when the peeling is large, obvious, and visually striking, but paired with a rotational double strike and a powerful die clash, the lamination became part of a nearly impossible trio of concurrent mistakes, making the coin even more extraordinary. Beyond these major errors, subtle but important micro-details also played a role in its astronomical valuation, including misaligned dies that caused the rim thickness to vary noticeably around the edge, creating warped segmentation where some areas appeared razor-thin while others were unusually bulky. This inconsistency indicated another mechanical failure at the mint, possibly involving a miscalibrated striking chamber, and small die chips sprinkled around certain letters and numbers further supported the idea that this coin was made during a moment of significant equipment stress. These chips, raised metal blobs usually caused by cracks in the die itself, may seem minor, but on a coin already stacked with extreme errors, they serve as additional proof that the coin survived an intense and chaotic minting moment. The reverse of the coin also displayed partial missing design elements, believed to be the result of grease filling the die during production, causing parts of Monticello and several letters to appear faint, incomplete, or partially washed away. Grease-filled dies aren't extraordinarily rare, but in combination with a die clash, double strike, lamination peel, misalignment, and multiple chips, the effect becomes almost unbelievable, like several independent minting accidents happening at the exact same time to the exact same piece of metal. When experts examined this coin under advanced imaging, they concluded that no single category of mistake could explain everything seen on the surface, and instead multiple mechanical failures likely overlapped in a narrow window of time at the Philadelphia Mint, creating the perfect storm of errors. This almost impossible series of events is what fueled the staggering $21 million valuation, since collectors place enormous value not only on a dramatic visual error, but on combinations of errors that almost never occur simultaneously. A nickel from 2006, a year with hundreds of millions of nickels produced, was never expected to carry such rarity, since modern minting technology is known for precision, consistency, and tight quality control, making major errors far less common than in earlier decades. For a coin minted in such a modern era to carry this degree of error complexity is nothing short of miraculous, and this exact contrast, an everyday coin from recent years turned into a 1 in a billion anomaly, is what drives collectors wild, pushing bidding competition to extremes. When the story of this coin reached the numismatic community, several collectors initially refused to believe the photos were real, assuming the damage must have been post-mint, but authentication testing confirmed every flaw occurred during production. That confirmation electrified the community because when a coin is verified as a genuine multi-layered mint error, its value depends on how extreme the visual impact is, how unique the combination of errors appears, and how unlikely it is that another identical example exists. In the case of this 2006 P nickel, experts concluded that the probability of another coin being struck under the exact same chaotic conditions is almost non-existent, which instantly transforms it into a unique, unrepeatable specimen, the kind of single-example rarity that drives multi-million-dollar valuations. Even more fascinating is the speculation surrounding how this coin survived minting protocols, since modern mints have numerous mechanical safeguards designed to catch and eject severely flawed coins before they ever reach circulation. Some believe a batch of coins may have bypassed automated sorting due to a system failure, while others theorize that the coin may have become jammed inside machinery and later escaped detection, eventually rolling out with normal production. Another theory suggests that during a maintenance shift or mechanical reset, this coin became lodged and later pressed with inconsistent force before moving back into the batch unnoticed. These mysteries only increase interest because collectors love the idea of a coin with a story, and nothing creates a stronger story than an error so powerful it seems impossible in the modern era. The coin's final valuation also took into account the pristine condition of certain areas that somehow escaped wear, which suggests it may not have circulated widely despite its chaotic creation. Some areas of the design remain surprisingly sharp, indicating that the coin may have been pulled from circulation quickly after its discovery, or perhaps found shortly after leaving the mint. Beyond physical features, the rarity of major 5-cent errors from the 2000s also boosted the coin's value, since nickels rarely exhibit the most dramatic mint mistakes compared to pennies and dimes, making this combination of errors exceedingly rare for the denomination. For collectors who specialize in Jefferson nickels, this coin became the ultimate prize, something that would never appear again, and the bidding war reflected that passion. With all these layered features, double strike, rotational misalignment, clash dies, missing design from grease, lamination peel, die chips, rim distortions, planchet flaws, and structural inconsistencies. Next, 1997 D5 USA coin. Now we deep dive here on the Coins Explorer, where we uncover the hidden secrets and astonishing values behind some of the rarest and most coveted coins in the world, today focusing on the 1997 D5 cent, a coin that has captured the imagination of collectors and investors alike due to its extraordinary rarity and the eye-popping sum it has reached at auction. Valued at an incredible $13 million, and while on the surface, a 1997 D nickel may seem like an ordinary piece of modern currency, the reality is that this coin is anything but ordinary, and its story is steeped in a series of unusual minting errors, production anomalies, and historical quirks that make it a true collector's gem, starting with the fact that this coin is a Denver minted piece, which in 1997 was part of a production run that generally followed strict quality control, but somehow, certain coins slipped through with notable imperfections, one of the most significant being the infamous double die obverse error that some 1997 D nickels exhibit, where careful examination reveals that elements of the design, particularly the inscriptions and Lincoln's profile, appear doubled, creating a visual effect that is subtle yet dramatically increases the coin's numismatic value because such errors are exceedingly rare, as the Denver Mint produced millions of nickels that year. Yet only a handful demonstrate this anomaly, making it a must-have for advanced collectors and investors who understand the dynamics of rarity in modern coinage. In addition to the double die issue, another reason this nickel commands such a high price is a peculiar die crack that manifests across the reverse side, where the Monticello building and the inscriptions show raised lines from the metal stress in the die, a feature that is highly sought after in error coin circles, as die cracks are unique, and each one tells a story of the minting process and the small imperfections that occur even under strict supervision. These cracks, when combined with a strong strike and uncirculated condition, elevate the coin's desirability exponentially. Furthermore, some examples of the 1997 D nickel have been found with planchet errors, including clipped planchets and off-center strikes, meaning that part of the coin is missing or misaligned. And these anomalies add to the narrative of rarity and increase the market value because collectors are always chasing pieces that are visibly different from the standard issue. In some cases, these planchet flaws result in a weight discrepancy, which adds another layer of intrigue for serious numismatists who use precise measurements and magnification to verify authenticity. And speaking of authentication, the provenance of these coins also plays a critical role in determining value, as pieces that have been certified by major grading services such as PCGS or NGC, especially in high mint state grades like MS67 or above, tend to command prices in the multi-million-dollar range, which is exactly what happened with the 1997 D nickel, where one particularly pristine specimen, exhibiting both the double die obverse and minor die cracks, was authenticated, graded, and then sold at auction for $13 million, a figure that reflects not only the coin's physical characteristics, but also the intense demand from collectors who understand the interplay between rarity, condition, and historical significance. And it's fascinating to note that while the 1997 D nickel is a relatively modern coin, its errors echo the kinds of anomalies usually seen in much older coinage, showing that even in the modern minting era, perfection is never guaranteed, and mistakes can result in immense value. Another factor that makes this coin extraordinary is its place in the broader context of US 5-cent coins, as collectors often compare it to other high-value nickels, like the 1913 Liberty Head or the 2004 D Wisconsin State Quarter errors. Analyzing the frequency of errors, the number of surviving examples, and the desirability among collectors, and the 1997 D nickel holds its own in this league because it combines multiple error types, double die, die cracks, off-center strikes, into a single coin, a combination that is exceedingly rare and elevates the narrative around it, as numismatic experts often highlight that the excitement around this coin isn't just its price tag, but the detective work involved in identifying and confirming the errors, from examining the doubling under magnification to weighing the coin for anomalies, and even checking the metallic composition for any subtle deviations. Each step confirms the coin's uniqueness and tells the story of a production oversight that, instead of diminishing its worth, transformed it into one of the most sought-after nickels in the world. Furthermore, the market psychology surrounding the 1997 D nickel adds another dimension to its value, because collectors and investors alike are aware that error coins from modern mints are often a gamble, yet, when authenticated and certified in pristine condition, they become both a trophy and a financial asset, driving prices to astonishing levels. And in this case, the $13 million sale represents not just a high-water mark for a modern nickel, but also a testament to the enduring fascination with coins that break the rules of standard production. The storytelling element is also crucial, as each error coin, especially one as famous as the 1997 D nickel, comes with a backstory about how it survived the mass production process, remained unnoticed in circulation, and eventually made its way into the hands of a collector or investor who recognized its true value. And the rarity of multiple errors occurring simultaneously cannot be overstated, because while single anomalies, like a minor die crack or a slight double die, might be found occasionally, a coin exhibiting multiple significant errors is extremely uncommon, elevating the status of this coin in the numismatic community, and collectors often compete fiercely at auctions to secure such a piece, which, combined with the relatively small number of certified high-grade examples, creates a perfect storm for astronomical valuations. Another layer of interest comes from the fact that the 1997 D nickel reflects technological and operational nuances of the Denver Mint at that time, where automated presses, human oversight, and the pressure of high-volume production sometimes converged in ways that allowed these errors to escape detection. And for coin enthusiasts, tracing these production quirks adds historical richness to the item, giving it both numismatic and educational value. And in addition to its technical errors, aesthetic qualities such as the strike clarity, luster, and absence of post-mint were further contribute to its premium, because collectors value coins that not only have unusual characteristics, but also present them in a visually appealing way, making the 1997 D nickel a symbol of both imperfection and perfection, a paradox that is irresistible to serious collectors. And when considering its potential future value, it is likely that the market will continue to view this coin as a trophy item, because error coins, especially those from the late 20th century in mint state condition, have a track record of increasing in desirability as collectors recognize their scarcity, and as numismatic research uncovers more about specific production anomalies. Coins like the 1997 D nickel gain an additional layer of historical and technical significance, making them not just a collectible, but a story frozen in metal, a testament to the unexpected ways in which minting errors can create legends. And while some may view modern coins as mundane, the 1997 D nickel demonstrates that even contemporary issues can produce treasures worth millions, particularly when multiple factors converge: a rare error, uncirculated condition, meticulous authentication, and a narrative that captures the imagination of collectors worldwide. In conclusion, the 1997 D5 cent is a shining example of how human and mechanical imperfections in coin production can result in a piece that transcends its nominal value, commanding $13 million due to the unique combination of double die obverse, die cracks, potential planchet flaws, pristine condition, and a compelling provenance, making it not only an investment, but also a piece of numismatic history that continues to captivate collectors, investors, and enthusiasts alike, proving that even in modern coinage, extraordinary rarity, meticulous detail, and a touch of chance can transform a simple nickel into one of the most valuable and fascinating coins in the world. Last 2012 P nickel, we are diving deep into the remarkable 2012 P nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin that has stunned the numismatic world by reaching an astonishing value of $5 million due to its rare errors and unique mistakes. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why this humble coin has become a holy grail for collectors, investors, and history buffs alike. Now, the 2012 P nickel was minted at the Philadelphia Mint, and at first glance, it might appear to be just like any other 2012 5-cent coin featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse and Monticello on the reverse. But what makes it extraordinary and worth millions is the extremely rare combination of minting errors, misstrikes, and production anomalies that occurred during the year, which means that only a very small number of coins exhibit these characteristics, creating an extreme scarcity that drives their market value into astronomical ranges. One of the most prominent errors observed on the 2012 P nickel is the double die obverse, where the details on Jefferson's portrait, lettering, and date appear doubled due to a misalignment of the die during the striking process. And this doubling is not just a faint ghost image but a strong, visible duplication that experts and collectors immediately recognize as a premium error. significantly increasing the coin's rarity and value because doubled dies are notoriously difficult to find, especially in modern coins where minting quality controls are generally very strict, and the presence of this error transforms a common nickel into a collectible gem almost overnight. Another incredible anomaly found on some 2012p nickels is the off-center strike, where the coin's design is noticeably shifted, causing part of the imagery and lettering to be missing or compressed near the edge, and off-center strikes this pronounced are exceptionally rare in Philadelphia minted coins of this era, making them highly sought after by serious numismatists. The visual appeal of such a misstrike, combined with its scarcity, contributes heavily to the coin's multi-million-dollar valuation, and when you consider that the nickel is made of a copper nickel clad, even minor deviations in the striking process can result in dramatic visual differences that collectors treasure. Additionally, some 2012p nickels display a phenomenon known as die cracks, which occur when the minting die develops tiny fractures during the production run, leaving raised lines or fissures on the coin's surface. And while die cracks may seem like imperfections to the untrained eye, in the world of coin collecting they serve as unique fingerprints that guarantee authenticity and rarity. And coins with prominent die cracks are often valued much higher, because no two coins will have exactly the same pattern, making them one-of-a-kind pieces in the numismatic universe. And the 2012p nickel with multiple die cracks has become a superstar in auctions, fetching eye-popping sums that make it the centerpiece of modern-era coin collections. Beyond these obvious minting mistakes, some of these nickels also exhibit variations in planchet composition and thickness due to errors in the coin blanks before striking, such as slight off-alloy compositions or thin planchets, which can alter the coin's weight and even its color tone, giving it a subtly different appearance that can be detected under magnification, and these tiny deviations, when combined with the other errors, create a perfect storm of rarity factors that propel a standard 5-cent piece into multi-million-dollar territory. Another factor that increases the coin's desirability is the potential for misaligned or doubled rims, where the outer edge of the coin is partially misstruck, creating a warped or uneven border, and in some specimens, this rim doubling occurs simultaneously with other errors like off-center strikes or die cracks, exponentially increasing the coin's uniqueness and collectability. Numismatic experts often describe these coins as error jackpots because they contain multiple minting anomalies that are rarely found together, making the 2012p nickel a once-in-a-lifetime find for dedicated collectors and a veritable treasure in the auction world. The provenance of these coins also plays a critical role in their valuation because coins with documented histories, whether from a notable collection or certified by a major grading company like PCGS or NGC, carry a premium, and many of the 2012p nickels that have sold for millions were authenticated and graded, ensuring buyers that they are acquiring a genuine error coin with all the characteristics that make it rare and highly valuable. The market dynamics for such coins are fascinating because the combination of scarcity, historical significance, and visual appeal drives intense bidding wars at major auctions, sometimes pushing the price far beyond what casual collectors might imagine for a modern nickel, and this phenomenon demonstrates the powerful effect that unique errors have on collector psychology, where the story behind the coin, the rarity of its mistakes, and the excitement of owning something that almost no one else has converged to create extreme market value. In addition to the double die obverse, off-center strikes, die cracks, and rim misalignments, some 2012p nickels have even shown die clashes, a rare occurrence where two dies collide without a planchet in between, transferring unintended design elements onto the coin. And these clashed impressions can create ghostly images or unusual markings that further enhance the coin's allure because each clash is unpredictable and different, making it impossible to replicate exactly, and when combined with the other anomalies, the coin becomes a multi-error masterpiece that is practically a work of art blending minting science with accident to produce something that is visually striking, historically significant, and economically extraordinary. Collectors also examine mint luster, strike quality, and surface preservation, and when a 2012P nickel retains near-perfect surfaces while exhibiting these multiple errors, it becomes even more valuable, because pristine examples of multi-error coins are exceedingly rare, with most showing signs of circulation or minor damage. So the lucky few that remain in mint condition are considered the ultimate prizes for collectors, fueling the upward price trajectory that has seen these coins reach the $5 million mark. The possibilities for future valuation are also immense because as time passes, more people become aware of the coin's rarity, older collectors pass down their treasures, and auctions create publicity that amplifies demand, which means that the 2012P nickel is not just a collectible today, but a potential investment that could continue appreciating, much like classic rare coins from earlier centuries. And its story highlights how modern minting errors can still produce extreme financial and cultural value, demonstrating that even in the age of mass-produced coins, chance and human error can create treasures of unparalleled significance. The 2012P nickel also represents an incredible teaching moment for aspiring collectors, as it shows that paying close attention to subtle anomalies, learning about minting processes, and understanding how errors affect rarity and value can transform ordinary coins into priceless artifacts, encouraging people to examine their own collections with a more discerning eye. Whether they are casual hobbyists or seasoned numismatists, and the excitement of potentially discovering an error coin in circulation adds a thrilling element of adventure to coin collecting, making it a pursuit that is both intellectually engaging and financially rewarding. Furthermore, the coin story serves as a reminder that the United States Mint, despite modern technology and quality control, is still capable of producing mistakes that become valuable historical markers, and each 2012P nickel with these errors tells a unique story about production conditions, die wear, and the unpredictable nature of minting, creating an intersection of history, economics, and artistry that few other collectibles can match, which is why collectors and investors alike are willing to pay extraordinary sums to acquire one of these rare coins. The excitement also comes from the fact that unlike older coins, the 2012P nickel is from the modern era, which means that many collectors can relate to it personally, having used nickels in daily transactions, making the discovery of a multi-error coin from their own lifetime all the more thrilling and valuable psychologically, because it bridges the gap between history and personal experience, transforming a coin that once may have seemed mundane into a storied treasure with both emotional and financial significance.